Entertainment radio on the go. This is eRadio.
It's time for the Louwdown with Louw Breytenbach on mental health, of course. And today we are talking about mental health in relationships. We're not just talking romantic relationships, all kinds of relationships and how it is affecting us. Louw, a very good afternoon to you. How are you?
Good, thanks, and you?
I'm good, thank you. What's new?
November is here, so I'm growing a mustache. We'll see how it goes.
Nice. Yeah, you should show it off. I know you will.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's like a Freddie Mercury vibe. I know Halloween is past, but I'm feeling my Freddie coming through this month.
Oh, channel your Freddie. Nobody's going to complain. I think you could do with that look. It should look nice on you. Yeah, do a Freddie.
No, definitely.
Louw, today we are talking about mental health in relationships. And as I said, and as you also said off air, it's not just romantic relationships, friends, family, you name it. Yes, where would you like to start off with?
Yeah, I think there's just, always when we talk about mental health, it's very difficult for people who have any kind of relationship, whether it's parents and children or spouses or maybe just a boyfriend or girlfriend, where one partner suffers from mental health and the other person is perfectly fine. And these issues then become a little conflict because we don't know how to deal with it. We don't know what to say because for the partner who is A-OK, they struggle to understand and comprehend that someone can be in bed for 3, 4, 5 days on end and not want to get up. Mm-hmm. And on the other side, you have the person suffering from the mental health illness, which could be bipolar, depression, or anxiety, that hinders them from doing normal daily tasks. And they often feel attacked or they feel that they are misunderstood in these conversations. So my hope today is just to give some practical skills that we can apply to help each other in this journey and hopefully start the conversation on mental health with our partners, because it's very easy to say, oh, I've got depression or my partner has depression, but we often forget that there's 9 different types of depression and there's different ways of addressing these issues depending on what your partner or your child or your father or your mother has in relation to you then.
Louw, I think in this case, definitely knowledge is power. So you need to read up or whatever you have to do as much as you can so that you can understand the, condition and what your partner is going through. I mean, there are so many of these conditions and we need to understand them. So read up, watch YouTube videos, study it. And don't be afraid to ask your partner about it. You know, sometimes I think you kind of wary to approach your partner and ask him or her about it because you're worried that they will freak out or whatever. But no, just sit down and have a conversation and say, I know what you're going through. I read up all about it, and I think they will also appreciate it a lot when you read up on it and you kind of join them in conversation and they kind of get the feeling that you understand what they're going through.
Absolutely. It's a thing of you don't know what you don't understand. And if there's no understanding of what another person goes through, it's very difficult to harness that empathy in a relationship. So just to backtrack to bars is that general anxiety disorder or a depressive syndrome is usually often diagnosed when someone suffers from this for a longer period than 6 weeks. So the first acknowledgement would be to pay attention to your partner or your child or your parents. And if this is something, especially during lockdown, that persists for more than 6 weeks, to seek some professional guidance or professional help. And then obviously, like you said, and I'm so grateful that you did say it, is that we need to educate ourselves. That is the main key, that the moment you know that you have a partner in your life or a child that suffers from mental health disorders is to read up on the different types of disorders there are, what the warning signs for those disorders are, and then how to react and speak to people in a certain language that aids their mental health. Because oftentimes we say, like, I can't understand why you don't just get up, or come on, man, just think happy thoughts. It's not as bad as you think it is, or stop being scared. But and we think we're giving advice, and it's pretty solid. It works for us. If you have a downtime and you don't have a mental health disorder, for you it works to say, listen, man, just smile. Life, it's just a bad day, not a bad life. All those cliche little quotes that we throw out. But when you are suffering from a mental health disorder or illness, we have to pay attention to the chemical imbalances, the food we eat, the situations we put ourselves in, those boundary settings which we talked about in previous weeks as well, and how all of those things contribute to being mentally healthy at the end of the day.
Yeah, Louw, absolutely. Also, I just want to say, what you just said about all those things people say to us, snap out of it, that's another one, or just breathe or whatever, or don't be scared or whatever. To me, as somebody with a generalized anxiety disorder, I find that very offensive.
It's the thing of, someone's trying to help and you're trying to like crunch on your teeth and go, okay, thank you. But it doesn't really solution the problem. When that education you spoke of, is that makes such a difference, because then we are able to place ourselves in someone else's shoes and give practical advice rather than trying to get the darkness away as fast as possible. You can teach people and teach your spouse and teach your partner to hold space for you, and rather ask encouraging questions like, what is triggering you? What do you think? Where do you think this stems from? Is there something specific that is making you anxious? And how can I aid you? What can I do to assist you? And oftentimes we also have to accept that the answer that's going to come is, I don't know, or there's nothing you can do. And then we have to respect that answer as well as someone who is mentally healthy, so that we can say, I'm holding space for you without judgment. And then if you need me, I am here. So if there's nothing you can do, and sometimes nothing you can say, you have to ride the wave out with that person and make sure that you are there when they need you, make sure that you hold a space when they want to talk, and if not, hold space for them without judgment, listen to them. Oftentimes people just want to be heard and not get advice, not be fixed, not told that there's something wrong with them. They just want someone to soundboard to without getting fixed, because there's nothing wrong with you if you do suffer from a mental health disorder. It is just something that is misunderstood.
Now, Louw, absolutely, what you're saying is so true. A month or two ago, you had a pretty public panic attack in a shop, if I remember correctly. I read it on your social media.
Correct,
and how did you find that did you find that they didn't understand what you're going through? I think there was a bit of a frustration there for you.
Absolutely. Well, look, I was too zonked out to know if it was frustrating at the moment, but afterwards I thought, listen, we need to educate people, because I'm pretty sure I'm not the only person who has had a public panic attack. And when you do have these public panic attacks, the person who has it feels very embarrassed. They feel like all eyes are on them. So you burst out in a cold sweat because everyone's looking at you. And in my case, I'm also very socially anxious, so I hate drawing attention to myself. But the main focus behind that post was just educating people in what to do when someone has a panic attack, and a general rule for any form of an anxiety attack. It might not always be as severe as having a public meltdown, but it can be hyperventilating or sweating or tummy issues. And as a partner, you can firstly help your child, your wife, your husband, or your boyfriend or girlfriend by focusing on breathing and relaxation exercises. And although they often feel silly, the value of breathing exercises should not be underestimated, because it helps the person go from abdominal breathing and lae resonansie asemhaling. Die Afro-English wil nie vandag saamwerk. Resonance breathing, to get to ventricle breathing, which is in the upper part of the body and the chest, and when we do these deep breathing techniques, it helps alleviate anxiety, and it helps to untie that knot in the tummy. It also helps the person having the anxiety attack to focus on other things while they are breathing, because the moment we focus on counting, it helps us to take away that mental boundary of people are looking at us. Another great tip is to always carry around a bottle of ice water or cold water with you. And then also to have a material, I prefer stress ball or something with a soothing texture that I can hold on to if I do feel very anxious or I feel something coming on, to immediately start reaching for items that have soothing textures. We call that a grounding technique. Yeah. So it lets you know that you are in the moment, you are here, you are present, you can focus on your breathing, and there's something solid to grab onto. Because in our mind, usually when these panic attacks set in, it feels like you are a bit unhinged. It feels as if you are just walking on air, and everything starts spinning and becomes too much and very loud, and your sensory overload kicks in. And the moment you can ground yourself, whether it be with textures or with sounds, I often walk in shops with my headphones. People might think it's silly, but it works for me wonderfully because it cancels out all the external noise, so there's no sensory overload. And to have these things ready when you know your partner is prone to these attacks, to make sure that you have something with the texture with you. Always have cold water with you. Read up on breathing techniques and focus exercises that you can do, even if it is in the car, just before you go into a busy shopping center, just to take those 5 or 10 minutes to ground yourself, and then make sure that you are mentally fit and mentally ready to go into these social spaces.
But Louw, did you have your mask on at the time when it happened? Because that's not helping.
Absolutely, yes.
No, that doesn't help. It makes it worse.
I'm also germaphobe.
Oh, my word. Oh, gosh. No, that's awful.
And so look, the masks are something we're going to have to live with for a while, I suppose. So, make sure you get a good quality mask and not the thickest fabric that you can get. There are wonderful 3-layer masks that are breathable and that are comfortable around the ear, or some people who feel very uncomfortable with things touching their ears or their nose or so. There are various other options of masks that you can get. I recently saw one that clips to your spectacles. Ooh. And they don't touch your face. So I bought myself one of those it's not the same as the screen. It just covers under the mouth as well. So it's completely closed off, but it helps that your glasses don't fog up, and it allows for a little bit more breathing room than the cloth mask.
I'm so glad it helps with the fogging of your glasses, because nowadays people are offended because you didn't wave in the shop. You're like, excuse me, I couldn't bloody well see you.
I know all about it. Guilty as charged.
But Louw,
I often use that as a convenient excuse too.
It is. Actually, it is. It is a very good excuse, actually. Louw, just in closing, there was a comment in the store just after your panic attack by, an older gentleman, and that kind of indicates that people are not as educated as we like them to be, and hopefully this is going to help. Just tell us quickly, what did the gentleman say?
So the wonderful comment that was made by an elderly gentleman was, he's probably on drugs. And I was, and my first reaction was, damn, if I were, I probably wouldn't have had a panic attack. I would have been blindly unaware of what's going on around me. The problem here is that I'm too aware of everything and too feeling everything too intensely.
Yeah, so
definitely, definitely strides we need to make in breaking the silence and breaking the stigma around mental health, and that is why we talk about it and talk about engaging and being empathetic to those in your life who may be suffering from mental health conditions.
And to that gentleman, this is exactly why we've got this slot, to educate you. So you must just listen and try to understand. Yes. Louw, thank you so much. Next week, a very interesting topic, be less lonely, be happy. That's kind of to enjoy your own company and be comfortable. Right.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
Thanks, Louw.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.